must have.
We'll just have a quick look at some of the inside pages before. You got anything there?
How are you when it comes to eating pies?
I don't know. Understand. I honestly don't understand the question.
What's your preferred pie?
Oh well, it would have been steak and kidney. Probably that's changed over the years. Probably.
It sounds quite an old-fashioned pie now.
Yes,
doesn't
because
it?
I think pies that is what they are basically. That's what they are. They're sort of steeped in tradition, and they have that sort of comforting feel about them. That's what I would say. Where are we going with this?
Are you a pastry all round or just a lid? Because when I've eaten a pie, I would just like the lid.
Pudding. Are you not confusing puddings here?
No. You know what?
No, because steak and kidney pudding is which has the pastry all around it. Pie, I understand.
That's not true.
Gonna get corrected here.
No, that's not true.
Is pastry on the top?
No, you can buy a pie which is all pastry and pastry on top. But you can also buy pies. You know, you have pies where it's just the container and just the pastry lid.
What have you got there?
Well, I've got pie for you. I don't know if you want to eat it. So this is a substantial meal. Fish, chips and mushy peas in a pie. Now, I'm a massive fan of fish and chips and a huge fan of mushy peas. I'm not sure I want it in a pie, but this chef, Gareth Mason, has created it for drinkers who have to sit down under COVID restrictions and have a substantial meal.
Can you give us any indication of dimensions? Because it's very hard to tell from that picture how big it is. What, is that sort of full plate size? Is that a giant pie that you would then subdivide, or is that an individual pie?
Well, there is a little picture here of... I'm assuming this is Gareth, 33-year-old, who works in the Northwest-based retreat restaurants. It's called A Northerner's Dream Come True, and it's in a box there, and it looks pretty substantial. Anyway,
do you know what I like about that?
Tell me.
I like the layering. There's something there's something satisfying about the layering. It's like looking at the Earth, you know, the inside of the Earth. The lava underneath. That is satisfying.
Well, no, then it would be upside down, wouldn't it? Because
well
the green stuff...
I'm in favour of someone inventing a pie like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it looks really, really lovely. Did you have anything that caught your eye?
On the theme, well, there was just this one image that rather tickled me. I mean, there's been a lot of official portraits and official pictures done of Captain Sir Tom hand-knitted bauble in the shape of Captain Sir Tom Moore. It's just, I think it's kind of almost one of my favourites. The many tributes, some of which have been from all sorts of places.
Do you think it would fit on our tree?
Well, it definitely would.
Look nice, wouldn't it?
But I suspect this is a cherished item on the tree, wherever it is. So well done, whoever knitted that. It looks lovely.
Captain Tom loves that. Loves it. It is 19 minutes past 6.
Time now is 9:27.
You're watching Breakfast, of course. We're on BBC One until 10. That's when Matt Tebbutt takes over in the Saturday Kitchen. Matt, can you fix a little bit of a discussion, debate in the studio that we've had this morning?
I can try.
No, you look as if you're prepared for it.
Go on.
A bit nervous. Charlie, go on. Pie,
oh, no,
pudding.
It was in relation... You found a picture of what was a pie, which is a fish and chips pie, which is everything. It was mushy peas, chips and fish all in one pie, which had been invented. And the discussion began as to whether a pie... Can a pie only have a lid? Is that a pie if it only has a lid? Does it have to have pastry all the way round and underneath?
No, you see, I got into trouble because I did a pie on this show once and it just had the lid. We've actually got one today. And then I got into trouble with it because people said that's not a proper pie. It should have a complete base, but we'll bring that up with our chef in just a bit.
I think the base ruins the pie. I think you don't want too much pastry. The lid is just the tasty bit to soak up the juices, and then you can enjoy the filling. Is
it a slow news day?
What do you think? Little thing called Brexit that may not be happening. Apart from that, a post-trade deal. Right, you crack on.
Our special guest today is Richard Osman. Richard, good morning.
Hello, mate. We could do a tight 20 minutes if Charlie and Naga... perhaps an outside broadcast has broken down or something.
I think this could run and run.
Yeah, honestly, just do another half an hour on Brexit, Charlie and Naga. We all want to hear more, don't we?
Now, listen, we'll talk about your fantastic new book in just a bit. For now, let's talk about your food heaven, food hell.
I think for Food Heaven, you're doing a very posh version of steak and chips for me.
Yeah, you can't give it away. So you like steak?
Oh, I wasn't told I wasn't supposed to. I tell you what, why don't we talk about Brexit?
pies. Pie fillings.
Shall we do that? Oh, no steak after Brexit.
We haven't heard about that for a while.
I think you're doing a posh thing for me.
Yes, I am.
A posh version of a traditional dish.
I am, yes. So you like steak, you like spinach, and you like potatoes?
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, yeah.
OK, and cheese. So what about hell?
The food hell, I'm going for a fish and chips pie, but just with a crust.
Because it's not a proper
Nothing
pie.
around, because to me that's not a proper
No
pie.
offence, Jane. Two great chefs here as well. Jane Baxter.
Hello,
What pie are you making?
I'm making Dartmouth pie, which is a spiced venison and fruit pie.
It's only got a lid.
It's only got a lid, but I call it a pot pie.
Oh dear.
I'm getting around it.
Is
pot
that how
pie.
you get around it?
Yeah.
Oh, OK. Interesting. Theo, what have you got?
I'm doing a Christmassy fresh pappardelle with a duck ragu with chestnuts, lots of red wine, thyme, and a bit of parmesan on top.
It is delicious. I ate lots of it just now. Helen McGinn here is in charge of the drinks, aren't you, Hels?
I am in charge of the drinks, and I got to try these earlier in the week, obviously, with these dishes. They're so delicious, I then hid them so I wouldn't finish them before today.
You warrior. We're actually all wearing the same top, I've just realised. I might have to go and change.
5 shades.
A nice bit of blue velvet there. Don't forget, you guys at home are in charge of what Richard gets to eat at the end of the show. Go to the website for voting details, and we'll see you at 10.
Matt, you asked if it was a slow news day. I just wondered if you had no time to prepare for Richard's dish, just because, really, seriously, spinach, steak and potatoes. I mean, talk about imagination. Richard, I think you've been shortchanged.
There was lots of preparation went into it, but Richard has a very conservative taste.
Are you just going to pile it in like one on top of the other and call it posh? Is that what you chefs do?
Totally, exactly. I'll garnish it with parsley and then charge another 20 quid.
Oh, parsley's a bit much for me.
Too much?
It's a bit spicy.
That's a bit exotic. Oh, I love it when you've got your hands full. You really have today.
Thanks.
Have a good programme. See you.
See you later.
9:31. What else is coming up this morning?
Good morning. The weather outside might be frightful, but the food in here is simply delightful. This is Saturday Kitchen Live. Welcome to the show. With me today are two of the River Cafe's most successful alumni, Theo Randall and Jane Baxter. Good morning, both.
Good morning, Matt.
And bringing festive tipples to the table is Helen McGinn over here.
Good morning.
Good morning, House. Now, our special guest today is a man who started his career behind the camera, but has successfully crossed to the dark side, or the other side. He's now a best-selling author too, and Steven Spielberg is taking his novels to Hollywood. It's our far from pointless friend, Richard Osman.
Hello.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
I'm really well. Someone just said, sit there and eat and drink all morning, and that's all you need to know.
Great.
So I thought, well, that's okay.
Happy with that?
Yes, what I'd be doing at home.
Excellent, excellent. But in your pyjamas and cornflakes.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is what I wear for breakfast at home as well.
I would imagine it is.
Theo is normally around. Theo normally cooks me breakfast.
Every day. Every day.
That's odd.
I've changed a lot since TV success.
Right, let's see what's on the menu today. So, Theo, you're up first. What have you got? So, what's your idea of food heaven?
Can I just say, firstly, why just the 2 types of paprika? Why
There's
not
only
3?
2.
It doesn't seem like you could have more. I'm a sort of a child of the 1970s. I've got quite conservative taste. I was brought up on potato waffles and fish fingers and stuff. And these days with restaurants, I always like if a posh restaurant does a good steak, I'll always go for that. So,
Right.
So you know, that kind of thing, something like a nice steak and chips or something like that.
Okay.
I know that's boring, isn't it?
It's not boring.
It's quite boring.
It's not that
Are
boring.
you sure?
A really good steak is a great thing.
Well,
if
that's
the
what I
meat is
think.
good and it's nicely cooked.
Yeah, that's right. And it's
Am I right?
responsibly
totally right.
sourced and nicely reared and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. It can be terrible. It can be delicious. Now, what about hell?
Right, hell for me is if you ever go to a restaurant, I'm sure none of you ever do this. You know, if you go to a restaurant and go, this place is so amazing, there isn't even a menu. The chef just cooks whatever is in the kitchen. And I'm like, that is...
You did that in an American accent, by the way.
Nowhere near that. If someone ever invites me to a restaurant, I'm on the website immediately looking up exactly what's on the menu and choosing beforehand.
Right.
If you turn up and you're like, you don't ever know what anything is. That's my idea of hell. So I've gone for the sort of starter you get at a place like that, which is scallops, that sort of thing, black pudding type stuff. You know, when it's all a bit kind of stuff that I wouldn't necessarily have chosen when I walked in.
Right, OK. So you don't like being out your kind of comfort zone or your control?
I hate being outside my comfort zone. I like to either be in my comfort zone or near enough that I still get the Wi-Fi.
Very important in restaurants. Taking photo. So if the viewers give you heaven, it's going to be my take on steak and chips. So I'm going to roast a rib of beef or a cote de boeuf, and I'm going to glaze that with Madeira and butter. I'm going to serve the steak on a bed of spinach, which is your favourite green, I believe.
Yeah.
A side of crushed potatoes covered in thyme, parmesan and garlic as a bit of a seasoning.
I would vote for that.
Well, let's hope they do.
Good for me.
If the viewers give you hell, however, it's going to be a trio of your nightmares. So I'm going to saute king scallops and serve them with peas and lettuce cooked in butter and white wine. And I'm going to make it even more hellish. I'm going to make some black pudding and pork belly meatballs. Obviously, you're going to have to wait to the end of the show to find out which one the viewers vote for. But there's a lot of pointless fans out there, isn't there? Let's be honest.
Well, I hope so. But yeah, there's an awful lot of people who don't like me as well. So listen,
yes.
Let's find out.
Let's rally them.
Let's see how the scales weigh.
Go and log on to the website where you can vote for Richard's Heaven or Hell, and you can view the terms and privacy notices there as well. Now, as ever, it's that time. Now, as ever, you've been sending us in your pictures of the dishes you recreated from the show.
That is amazing, Theo.
It is amazing.
Wow.
I'm almost speechless.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm not just saying that because I like you.
It's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah, for this time in the morning as well. That's wow. That is
honestly,
really...
you need to try this.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks for that, Hels. Thank you, Theo. Jane Baxter will be back in just a bit with her winter warming Dartmouth pie. And I'll be making mincemeat samosas, how to bring the house down. Yes, just lower the level. Mincemeat samosas I prepared a few weeks ago on the show. The mincemeat, not the whole thing. Don't forget to send in your photos and good news stories to saturday.kitchen@cactustv.co.uk or join in the chat on social media using the hashtag SaturdayKitchen. And will Richard face his food heaven, ribber beef with Beaufort cheese potatoes, or his food hell, scallops with black pudding, meatballs and buttered peas? Go and log on to the website now and have your say. Right, while I eat this, you guys catch up with Rick Stein, and this week he meets up with my good friend Jose Pizarro in Spain, where his visit is the talk of the town. And then chuck in your veg, basically, diced veg, and that'll kind of mush down, form part of the stew. It ticks over about sort of 2.5 to 3 hours. Right, and while that's getting on, we'll talk about the Thursday Murder Club.
Ah, yes.
Came out in September.
Yeah.
It's doing very well. Tell us, for those of us who don't know, tell us kind of I mean, how did it come around?
Well, I went to visit a friend's mum who lived in a retirement village. It's a beautiful place out in the English countryside.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I thought it's so sort of English and genteel, it'd be a lovely place for a murder. But everyone who lived there...
Wait, can I just stop you there? Because you skated over that.
Yeah.
That's
Matt, not to commit one. Not to commit one, just to think about
great place for a murder.
Yeah, exactly, well, it would be. And then I started talking to everyone there. They're all over 70. You have to be over 70 to live there. And you chat to them about their lives. And by the way, this is about 11:30 in the morning. They're having lunch, and they're all drinking. And I'm aware I'm drinking at 10:30. I know. I feel like I'm in an airport bar. So I was chatting to them all, and it occurred to me if there was a murder there, then these people would solve it because they had this incredible experience. And so this idea of the Thursday Murder Club came about, which is 4 very unlikely friends in their 70s. One used to be a spy. One was a nurse, one was a psychiatrist, one was a trades union official. Once a week they meet up to solve old unsolved cases.
Yeah.
And then there's a real murder on their doorstep. And so they have to get themselves to the heart of the police investigation and try and solve it.
And it's very British, isn't it? Because it's kind of like murder mystery punctuated by tea and cake.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really British. There's lots of laughs and lots of kind of tears and a big mystery at the heart of it. And I thought, genuinely, I thought, oh, what if this is too British? But it seems to have hit a nerve this year. Yeah. Certainly over here, which is lovely, and it's gone crazy. But also, it's sold everywhere in the world. I just thought, because there's so many references to John Lewis and Robert Dias, and and Taste the Difference and all this kind of stuff. I thought, well, no one's going to understand this. And now that the Chinese have bought it and the Russians have bought it and the Americans, all that kind of stuff, it's very, very weird. But over here, obviously, it's been so lovely.
Do you think that is because it is very British?
I think I've gone so British, it's become interesting to them. Yeah. I think maybe if it was a tiny bit British, they'd be going, oh, this is not Russian enough for us. But it's so, everywhere in the world are obsessed with Agatha Christie. And, lots of people, when they're reading this, they talk about Agatha Christie, and, it's people are really looking for that kind of Agatha Christie-style thing. And so I think over there it's very easy for them to go, oh, this is like a new Agatha Christie someone's written, which is lovely. I mean, it's a huge hit in Spain, for example. And you just think, well, it makes no sense whatsoever, because literally it's, talking about Roberts Bridge taxis and stuff like that. And you just think, well, I don't know what they make of that in Barcelona.
And do you think, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, and do you think that's why Spielberg picked it up, because of its Britishness?
Yeah, I mean, that was the fascinating thing right at the beginning. I mean, my big worry was oh, what if this book's no good and people over here have just, and, you know, the publishers here have just bought it because I'm on telly. But the second, you know, the Americans bought it, and the second Spielberg came in and said, I love this story, I love these characters, I want to make a film of it. I thought, well, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's actually like a normal book that an actual proper writer would write. And so it gave me a lot of confidence very, very early on. And, you know, since then, with people reading it and recommending it and now buying it for literally every single member of their family for Christmas.
How exciting was that moment when you found out that Spielberg, the actual Steven Spielberg, had
it was. Oh, sorry, it was Dave Spielberg, not Steven Spielberg.
Sorry. That was
been a terrible
a research note typo.
No, you know what? It was absolutely thrilling, and it's the sort of thing as well that, you know, I can ring my mum, who obviously is very invested in this book because she's 76. And you say, look, Spielberg's bought the rights, and she's heard of Spielberg.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, and so to her that's thrilling. No, honestly, it's incredible.
That might have been a good bottle that night, I would have thought.
Yeah, exactly that. And yet, I mean, hopefully, who knows whether anyone will ever make a film again? But fingers crossed, it'll be being made next year, which would be incredibly exciting.
I think that'd be
Everyone who reads it casts it in their head. That's the thing. These four people in their 70s, everyone says, "Oh, that's Dame Judy" or whatever. But it's we shall see.
Well, look, we'll come back to that in just a bit. Let's have a recap. So in here, we've got the rendered fat, we've got the oxtail, which is browning nicely. Spend about sort of 20 minutes, 30 minutes over that, so it's nice and golden. In with the veg. And then I've got the two types of paprika. Blipping and pokey is another one.
Blipping and poking?
You know, when things are a bit pokey. Bit spicy.
Listen, your weekend is your business, Matt.
It's enough about me. Let's talk about you. So you wrote this book almost in secret.
Yeah, I did. I thought there's nothing worse than when one of your friends is writing a book and they expect you to read bits of it right. It's like, oh God, please don't. And you know,
have you had that experience?
Yeah. And I was always a writer. That's how I started my career, and I'd always wanted to write a novel, and I just waited and waited because it's really, really hard. It turns out, and I just thought that I wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to write the whole thing before I sent it to anyone. So I showed it to a publisher, showed it to any friends. Whoa!
Sorry.
I mean, talk about upstaging me.
Sorry.
So yeah, I kept it completely secret, and then I showed it to one person who's an agent, and I just said, look, am I kidding myself here? Because I thought if I am kidding myself, at least I've written it. At least I've had the discipline of doing it. And lots of people at home will be writing books, and they know. I mean, it's hard to do. And I thought, well, at least I would have done it. But she said, no, look, there's something in this. And from that moment onwards, it's been amazing. I'm very chuffed I did it. I'm very proud of it. Oh.
Sorry about that. Here we go.
First the flames, now this.
That was always going to happen. I've been here for about 3 years.
Listen,
I'm amazed that hasn't
Matt,
happened
if you don't want me to talk about my book, I won't talk about it. It's absolutely fine.
Just anything to cause a distraction.
No need to be passive-aggressive with me.
So you were always a fan of crime writers. I mean, So who do you look to?
Well, I mean, we got the best crime...
Well, we'll collect all these off the floor. Yeah, who did you look to?
So let's pretend that didn't happen. We got the best crime fiction in the world in this country, and that's why I did it in secret, because you look at someone like Ian Rankin or Val McDermott and some of the stuff they put together. There's a lovely guy called Mark Billingham who I spoke to very early on in this process. But the lovely thing about crime fiction, especially this year, is we've got problems this year and we can't see the solutions. You know, we can't really see what the future's going to hold. And in crime fiction, you're given problem, but you know at the end, on page 340, it's all going to be fixed. And I think people are finding that very, it's a really lovely thing to know that there's a problem that has a solution. Yeah. And, I think it's comforting for people. Jane, do you want to know how I'd murder somebody? Oh, yeah. Sorry? I thought about this. Because I suspect you had to kind of get into that mindset. How to murder? Yeah, I've got the perfect murder. I bet you have. I haven't done it. But, really? Although, I wouldn't say. I would. Can I say this? I would wallop somebody over the head with a fish, a frozen fish. No, you wouldn't. And then you could defrost it and eat it. That's the clever bit. That's a Tales of the Unexpected. Is it? Yes, does that with a leg of lamb. Is that right? Has that been done before? And, I really didn't know that. And the police officer comes round and he's saying that if she kills her husband with a frozen leg of lamb, the police officer comes round and goes, "Are you sure you're okay? It must have been a terrible shock for you." And they goes, "Look, as soon as we find the murder weapon, obviously we'll get him." No. And meanwhile, he's eating the lamb. I'm really upset. I thought that was quite original. You can still do it. I'll tell you what you should do. Just poison some oxtail. That's the way to do it. But not now, please. No, I'm really upset. What's he pouring on there? Right, OK. OK, let's finish this, because, sorry, I'm... But it goes to show you're a criminal genius. Right, bit of char-grilled, decent bread, rubbed in garlic, raw garlic clove, bit of olive oil, like that. Whew.
I'm really upset. Right. What will I be making for Richard at the end of the show? Will it be his food heaven, steak? If so, I'm going to roast a rib of beef before glazing with Madeira and butter. They're going to serve it on a bed of spinach and a side of crushed new potatoes covered in thyme and parmesan garlic and some melted Beaufort cheese. Yummy. Or will it be a hell black pudding and scallops? So I'm going to saute some king scallops, serve them with peas and lettuce cooked in butter and white wine. And to make it even more hellish, I'm going to put some black pudding and pork belly meatballs along with it. Go into the website now and have your say. It's heading towards heaven, unsurprisingly.
Oh,
how's your oxtail?
This is amazing.
Very good, really good.
You had to follow Theo Randall as well.
I know.
And you have done. It's really good.
Coming up next, meat samosas. Mincemeat samosas.
Is there, I mean, a couple of times, is there anything more redolent of Christmas than a surprise parsnip?
I don't know, Hels. What do you think?
I loved that trick. I'd never seen that before because I don't have one of those pie funnels, but I know what to do now.
Always got a parsnip though, haven't we? Right.
Right, OK. So we've got our suet pastry pot rolled. I'm just going to get it a little bit thinner. And it's probably going to stick now because it's really hot in here. Please don't.
And this has always been just the lid. It's never a...
Yeah, it's the lid. So that's why I call it a pot pie. I'm not going to get into pie wars.
There's a lot of people who have got very sort of fixed minds on what's a pie and what's not.
Pie Wars would be a good TV show, by the way.
You're just never off, are you?
No,
You're never off.
I'm immediately thinking.
Just here to relax.
Pie Wars. OK, so I'm just going to put a little rim around this just to help it all stick together.
And that's just to help it stick to each other, yeah? OK.
And then top it.
And how's wild artichokes
Well,
going?
we're still doing takeaway.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Yeah.
Hopefully...
Tough though, right?
It's been a really tough year, yeah. And it's been a massive roller coaster, but you know what?
Yeah.
We're a lot better off than a lot of people. So you have to just be realistic about the way it is and just go with it. So, we're going to be doing Christmas... lunch to pick up if people don't want to cook it on Christmas Eve.
This is your WA party box.
Our WA.
As I read it, which is obviously WA, which is wild artichokes.
Yeah, we're doing little party boxes for people if they want to celebrate in a safe way.
Don't necessarily want to do all the work.
No, so little canapes and stuff.
Do you get a surprise parsnip in there, or is that...
I hope so.
I think we might.
You mustn't say. We mustn't say, of course.
That would spoil this.
You should, in a hamper, just put it on a spring. So literally, as soon as you open it, yoing, 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 that'd be Christmas parsnip.
Or just hit you in the face when you open the box.
Oh, lovely, with a tiny little Christmas hat.
So I'm just going to make a little hole to the surprise parsnip.
Jen, I don't know if you noticed, there's a floor manager here with a big sign that says 3 minutes to serve.
3 minutes. Oh,
okay. We were trying to do that secretly, but you weren't paying a blind bit of notice.
It's Theo's fault. OK, so...
Now he's just held up a sign saying, I have just pitched Pie Wars to the BBC.
OK, so I'm not going to decorate this one, but you could put a few little leaves and berries on in a nice... funky fashion. All right,
not because we've got now 2 minutes to serve.
Or you could just write parsnip. Anyway,
Nick, he really puts you off, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what, Joyce would have had this finished by now, wouldn't she? Been well done.
Right, so I'm going to go in the oven.
Yeah.
Whack this in.
And it goes in for about 40 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, about 200 and then drop it to 180 for another 20 minutes. And now I'm going to take ages to get this off because I've had nightmares about dropping this.
Oh. Yeah, let's not do that.
Yeah. It's been a day for that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a theme on this show today.
It is a bit of a theme, yeah. Here we go.
Well done. Nice.
OK, so we are serving this with a warm red cabbage salad.
OK.
Which we have put together here. And
this is not a very slow-cooked one,
no,
is it?
it's not. It's not a slow-cooked. It's basically red onion sliced, bit of balsamic and sugar, just sweet and sour.
Yeah.
Cabbage, wilt it down, and then you throw in some pecans, apple, marjoram, parsley, and blue cheese.
Nice.
OK?
But you're not melting the blue cheese?
Well, it has melted, but
okay.
It wasn't supposed to melt.
OK.
OK, so we're going to serve this up. It really was iconic. And there's some great recipes, like the salmon and pastry I think you've done in this show, haven't you?
Again, with using currants
and ginger.
Ginger and salmon.
And that sauce messine, which
delicious.
is just gorgeous. And her fish soup. So, you know, I think these recipes should be celebrated and we should keep them alive.
Quite right.
OK. I shall try not to.
Running out of room, Bex.
I'm running out of room.
It's
all right, it's
hot.
hot.
The green thing over.
It's OK, I'm good.
Right. There you go. Try the Dartmouth pie. So, Hels, we've got a big old red to go with this.
We have got a big old red. We needed it because with all those lovely, meaty, fruity flavours.
The wine is delicious.
It is really lovely.
Really nice. I haven't come across that before. This is fantastic.
It's so good.
Isn't it good?
Yeah, why is everyone not doing this?
Exactly.
And that pastry as well is amazing.
It's great, isn't it?
It's a great combination.
To it, it's like I remember when I was a kid, it didn't taste like this.
Yeah.
You know, but that's amazing.
Nice.
Thank you.
Even
Fantastic.
if you are like 2 minutes over or something.
Theo's fault, not mine.
Triumph. Great food today. Right, time for something sweet now, as Dame mentioned. Now, a few weeks ago on the show, I showed you a foolproof mincemeat recipe. Be great in mince pies or as a gift, even. So I said it needed. Why are you laughing at that?
That's a terrible gift.
It could be a gift.
Imagine that.
Happy Christmas. I'm not doing that. So anyway, it needed to mature for a couple of weeks. So here's the batch I made. Smells very nice. I'd give that away. You're going to do the kind of the cheesy potato affair. I'm going to get the meat in the pan. This is a fantastic rib of beef, Côte de Bœuf. This is enormous. So plenty of seasoning all over that. And then we'll get that pan, really nice crust. And although it is big, by the time you've got a really good crust on it, it won't take any more than about sort of 12 to 15 minutes in the oven, with a good amount of resting as well. Right, just squish it down so it's not that thick. Right, okay, good. So Theo, yeah, you're going to chop up some thyme, some garlic, mix that with a little bit of parmesan. So that's going to be the seasoning.
I'm on the cheese section.
You are on the cheese section, and that's no slight on your skills. Just saying. Beaufort cheese, one of my favourite cheeses.
Lovely. I don't know Beaufort cheese.
It's amazing.
What is that? A kind of.
You wait. It's an Alpine.
Oh, lovely.
It's an Alpine cheese. So think Comte, Gruyere, it's along those kind of lines. Right, so we'll get a good colour on that. I've got some potatoes here which have been sort of boiled.
I've never eaten in a restaurant before where Theo Randall is the sous chef. This is... it better be good, Theo, that's all I'm saying.
That's because I'm always cooking you breakfast.
Don't let that down. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Again, boys, it just sounds odd.
Sorry, it was
honestly, his poached eggs on toast are to die for.
Light humour, you know. You're going to try that?
Now listen, we'll come back to you.
I found Helen. I would try and do 2 hours a day. I'd try and do 1,000 words, and so I didn't know if I was going to finish it, if anyone would ever read it. But that discipline of having that kind of word count and that. So if anyone's writing at home, just if you can do half an hour, if you can do an hour, if you can do just keep writing, right?
Yeah, it's so true. And also for me, it became like, because I just did it in bits of time, I could
to get the whole thing done. Then get it good. But once it's done, that's it. You know, you can just get inside it, and it's like a playground. But most people tend to, like the first paragraph, they write 500 times, and that's the big mistake.
Is that the hardest part? Is actually those opening lines?
Well, no, I think the trouble is that's when people stop writing. Is when they obsess over the first little bit of something.
Right.
So the key thing is just, you know what, it's going to be rubbish, your first draft. Accept it's going to be terrible. Get to the end, so you've got the shape of the story. You know you've got your characters.
Yeah.
Then go back and rewrite. But don't keep doing that first paragraph because you'll never ever finish.
And do you get it sort of oddly involved in the characters?
Yeah, I mean that's the weird thing. And I mean I've been writing the follow-up to the Thursday Murder Club during lockdown, and yeah, honestly it's like they've been keeping me company. I can tell 2 ways I can tell I'm a proper author. One, I've got a beard now, and 2, genuinely these characters are sort of speaking to me. Yeah, that's what you need, Helen. That's the key. I can really recommend it. Remind me of the title.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll send you a copy.
Excellent, thank you.
OK, so a nice crust. Have a look at this rib. So a nice crust on the outside. I'm looking for another adjective. And then that's going to go into the grill and get all kind of nice and bubbly and crispy. Right, so beef comes out. Let's put that there. Now to that, I'm going to add a touch of Madeira, because it's one of my favourites, I have to say, because you get a nice kind of sticky...
Wow.
Seen each other. Although you worked together for like 4 years?
4 years.
Yeah.
5 years, something
Back
like that?
in the 90s at the River Cafe.
Early 90s, yeah.
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 We used to go clubbing.
I'll take a cut.
Yeah.
And how was that working together?
Was
Was this your choice?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I got very clear. Yeah,
We
I
had
love
Bossa
music.
Nova.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, soul bossa nova, yeah. Quincy Jones.
Making kitchens in the 90s sound like a nice place to work.
The three of you.
Yeah, but it was
No,
one week. I know it was.
I was the one they
later.
call stages. So you turn up for a week and you just get to shadow somebody.
Okay. And if you're good, they keep you on.
And
Is that how that works?
He was good, we were just fully staffed at the time.
Yeah, I know. It's a difficult time.
There was a waiting list as long as your arms.
There was, yeah. There was.
Because it was such a nice environment.
Yeah, and the staff meals are great.
Yeah.
Staff meals were amazing.
Amazing.
I love the River Cafe.
think
It's
they
just
still are.
along the road from Craven Cottage, the Fulham football ground. So I walk past it every time.
Perfect.
Every time
what a
go
great
to a match.
afternoon.
Yeah, lovely.
Great place.
Not that Fulham's a posh football club, but
How's the cheesy
Oh,
potatoes?
just coming up.
Seems to right. So Richard, House of Games.
Yeah.
I have been asked to do it. I'm
oh,
not
you'd
sure.
be great on it. I know that you boys have both been on Pointless, and that's a lot on Pointless. If you make a terrible mistake, I'm not saying both of you did, but I seem to remember you
Yes,
left
I
quite
did.
early.
Yes, I did.
Then you've got to go home. Whereas in the House of Games, you stay all week. It's really good fun. At some point, you find the round that you're good at. And it's been such an amazing hit, and across lockdowns, there's no audience or anything, so we were able to make loads and loads of them. So we're able to put out, new shows, which has been brilliant. We've had such a laugh making it, and it's in prime time now as well, which is fantastic. But Matt, you must come on.
Well, I got scared after my last experience of game shows, so I try and ignore the emails.
Yeah, I hear you. It's a bit like that week you had at the River Cafe, isn't it? Years ago.
I think it's the only person to get 198 with Rachel Allen.
Wow.
And not be knocked out in the first round.
Wow, that's
and you said to me, you
amazing.
must come back, but that was 5 years ago, so I assume the invitation's gone.
I imagine we ask you all the time, Theo.
I opened my mouth twice, and twice I got it wrong. To the point where I think Xander actually said, "Have you seen this show? Do you know how this works?"
I mean, for him to be impolite, I've never seen it. I've never seen it done. That's quite something.
Right. Okay. A bit of that.
This looks good.
It looks amazing.
Okay, and some of those nice buttery Madeira juices.
It's a lovely,
I mean, to be honest, just cheesy potatoes.
lovely bit of steak.
What wine have we got to go with this?
Yeah, so with this dish, when meat is cooked on the bone like that, it really benefits from a red wine with a bit more grit. Yeah, and it's just got lots of lovely black fruits and spice, and just really
Helen, I wasn't listening at all because this is so delicious.
Is it good? Is it all right?
Can you remind me what it is? Because this wine's lovely.
You carry on having a chat. That's all for us today on Saturday Kitchen Live. I'll let Helen continue. Thanks to Theo, Jane, Helen, and of course Richard. All the recipes from the studio are on the website bbc.co.uk/Saturday Kitchen. Now I've got more Best Bites for you tomorrow at 10 a.m. on BBC Two, and next week I'm back here live with Gennaro Cataldo, Angela Hartnett, and Mickey Flanagan. What a lineup! Have a great weekend. Bye for now.